Native ads and e-commerce is sometimes a very powerful combination, especially now, even though it's summer and you have an e-commerce store, then you have to think about Q4 because Q4 is upcoming, Q4 is faster there than you can expect, and native advertising can be a huge scaling factor for your e-commerce brand. However, if you want to use Q4 with native ads, then you have to start now in summer. And in this video, we will speak about the 3 most important things when it comes to e-commerce in combination with native ads. Hi everyone, my name is Marcel Sattler. I'm the founder of PurpleBlack, a native advertising only agency. What we're doing on a daily basis is we run profitable performance marketing campaigns on native advertising traffic sources like Taboola, Outbrain, MJD, Ref Content, and many, many more. And based off my experience, I can tell you that native ads and e-commerce is sometimes a very good scalable traffic source. So when I mean scalable, that means that you can scale native advertising traffic to 40, 50 grand per day. And that means, yes, it's doable, profitable, and yes, it's doable on a scale. But before you're there, you have to look at the 3 most fundamentals when it comes to native ads. So when you're in the beginning and you consider now, if you should start with Taboola ads, Outbrain ads, MJD ads, whatever, then this video is right for you. So let's hop into our first out of 3 must-known secrets when it comes to native ads. And the first secret is the right curiosity or problem approach. So what I mean with this is that when you have usually a Facebook campaign or a meta campaign, how it's called nowadays. So when you have a meta campaign, then you just sometimes can show your product, showcase your product, have some nice UGC content, and people will buy it anyway because they get the idea. You know, you have some video content, people are explaining why it's working, and done, sold. And this is not working with native ads. So it's important to understand that you're unable usually to clone the funnel. What's working on meta is usually not working on native. Very important to understand. You have to watch at native ads as a very different island solution. So you have to create a funnel just and exclusively for native ads. Because if you take your same funnels like you have for TikTok, like you have for Meta, then it will be not profitable in the majority of cases out there. So therefore, always keep in mind to have a separate funnel. And the separate funnel is important because, again, you sometimes just can show in the other, like more common traffic sources, you can showcase the product, have some UGC content, and it's converting. When it comes to native ads, you need a different approach. You need a problem or curiosity approach. So that means it's very important not to mention the product usually in the headline, but to use like the problem. Hey, do you have hair loss? Are you over 40 and you have hair loss? Hey, are you over 40 and you wake up in the night because you have to run to a toilet? So these are problems, you know, behind every of those problems, there is a solution, there is a product, but we don't mention the product in the headline, but we mention the problem. And the reason here is simple. Because when it comes to native ads like Taboola ads, Outbrain ads, MJD ads, then there is no real working targeting option. I mean, there are targeting options, but the best practice is still run without any targeting. And that means you need a very broad product approach. So the targeting you basically have is your headline and your image, your picture. This is the ad, and your ad is your targeting. So that means if you are unable to mention the problem here, people will not click, or you bring the wrong people into your funnel. So long story short, if I see, for example, women over 40, keep attention or pay attention if you have hair loss. I mean, I'm not a woman, I'm not over 40, and yes, I have hair loss, but that's the only thing I have in common, but I will not click on it because it's not relevant for me. And this is very important to understand. You need a problem approach. So basically, you mention the problem in the ad, then you guide people through an advertorial where you have your structure here to explain the problem, tell them how is it not going, then the solution, how is it going, and then you can pitch the offer. And then people will buy on the first click. Very important here. But you need this problem approach or curiosity approach. Like this hair shampoo or this barefoot shoes are taking the US by storm. So this is the curiosity approach. People are like, barefoot shoes, never heard about them. Or, okay, why exactly those had barefoot shoes? So these are the 2 main approaches which are working pretty well. Of course, there are multiple approaches, but in the beginning, it makes sense to start with a problem approach. Second must-known secret is that you need a very broad product angle. So as mentioned already, you don't really have a targeting option. And if your niche is too narrowed down, it's super impossible to get clients profitable, because again, you don't have those targeting options like you have on the other platforms out there. Native is still very rudimental. So that means there's a lot of like direct marketing stuff in the background, and your offer must be relevant for a lot of people out there. Imagine like this. So if you have a product and you are in the Times Square and you jump on a pedestal and then you ask people, hey, who wants to have a product like this? Who wants to have my product against hair loss? And then what you want to see is that many hands are going up and they're like, hey, I want to have it. If that's the case, then native advertising might be a relevant traffic source for your brand. If you have the same sample and in the Times Square and you stay there and 0 hands or just 2 hands out of 1,000 or so are going up, then native ads is definitely not the right product or not the right traffic source here for you. It's the same like with very specific B2B offers or with very, very specific offers, like let's say a leather oil for riding saddles. I mean, riding saddles, that means you need a horse rider, you need a horse owner, and this target audience is that small that it does not make any sense to run native advertising traffic. So you need a very broad product approach. Your product must be relevant for a lot of people out there, then native ads might make sense. Hey, here's a little advertisement for our channel. Thanks to you guys, we managed it to be the largest YouTube channel when it comes to native ads. But we need more support, because the more people are following us here on YouTube, the more great and free content and value we can deliver to you. So please give me a like here on this video, thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel. And last but not least, and Pinky promise it's the last favor here, is comment below what's your biggest learning so far out of this video. This will help us a lot to provide you more valuable content, and I'm very grateful for this. Thank you very much. And last but not least is the price range. And the price range is pretty important because we did run some split tests. And what we saw here is, and this is pretty interesting, that not always cheaper is converting better when it comes to native ads. Imagine this. With native ads, your audience is more mature. So we're speaking about people 40, 45 plus. So they do have a job, they do have a house or at least a safe living situation. They do have a family in majority of cases. So they're settled down in their life and with their lifestyle. And they have money. And on the other hand side, you have, for example, generation TikTok, very young people, maybe going to university or study something. And I think here now in black and white, but this is basically how it's working. And those people are broke basically, because if you remember, you as a student, how much money you had? I mean, not so much. And that's exactly the case. So when it comes to native advertising traffic, then you usually have an audience which is able to pay more. So on average, if a client, for example, from us is running different traffic sources, we see the highest AOVs, the highest average order values, the highest cart values with native advertising traffic, which makes totally sense. Again, because the audience is older, they're more mature, they have more money, makes sense. And this is important to use. Also important here to keep in mind that there's a sweet spot when it comes to the pricing. It's not too cheap, not too expensive. Based on our experience, the price sweet spot is something between $80 and $120. This is like a very good sweet spot here when it comes to cold native advertising traffic. And this is converting, and with this you usually can get profitable. Everything below is like lost money because the times are over that you can generate a sale for $3 or so. That's not the case. So if you have a product with $20 or so, it's usually the margins are too thin to make this profitable on a scale. And if you're too expensive, like $300, $400, $500, then the barrier to take it now, purchase it immediately, are also too high. So the sweet spot here is something between $80 and $120. So let's recap it very quickly. There are 3 most important things you have to consider when you start with native ads. First thing is your product needs a problem approach. So you have to make a fuss out of a problem for a potential prospect out there. Second thing is you need a very broad product angle. Not too specific, not too narrow down. And last but not least, the average order value should be, or the average cart value in this case, should be somewhere between $80 and $120. Then native ads is a good fit for you. I hope you liked that video. If so, and if you want to learn more about native ads, we linked some very valuable content resources down in the description, so feel free to check it out.